All right. Hey, parents. Welcome to our Nature Wednesdays. We're here with Ashley Mertz. She is a biologist and she is also an advocate for sustainability. And she is a mom that makes sustainability happen in her house, right? She's really working with her family to do this at a very practical and at a daily level. And so we're going to be talking about that today, which is going to be so great. But as you guys are getting on, I just kind of want to remind you about one of our values in Nature Matters Academy is family relationships. That is a huge part of why we do what we do, because at the end of the day, we want to have these amazing relationships with our kids that last into adulthood. And we know that nature is such an important player for building relationships. And one way that we can build relationships is we can get outside together and have fun. And Ashley's talk today about waste-free picnic lunches are not only a great way just to get outside and spend time together, but it's also a great way to think about nature and think about how we can conserve nature and protect nature. And so we're going to be talking about that today. And we're going to let nature be our teacher, right? Today with Ashley. This is going to be so much fun. So let's see. Oh, one other thing before we get started is we thought it'd be fun to do a contest with the kids and have them design their own waste-free picnic lunch for the family. And so I'm going to put a post on that either later today or tomorrow, where you can post pictures of your kids, because I know it'll probably take at least a week or so to bring it all together. But we're going to judge them, and the one that is like just the awesomest, we're going to send the kids a prize. It'll be a fun PDF activity. So Ashley, if you don't mind, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your adventure over the last year, kind of becoming a more sustainable family. And then we would love to go into the picnic lunch.
Yeah, thanks. This is exciting. Last year in January, we decided to, as a family, make sustainability a priority for us. And instead of doing a big New Year's resolution all at once, we decided to take it month by month because I'm a fan of baby steps and I get overwhelmed very easily. So, one month was to put up a clothesline to dry our clothes more outside as opposed to using electricity to dry it inside. One of them was to use a pooper scooper and paper bags instead of those plastic bags all the time to clean up our dog's waste. Just tiny little shifts in our behavior to make the world a little bit of a better place. Probably the one we've seen the most improvement was in our showering. We only have a 2-minute runtime on our showers now. And, you just turn off the water when you're sudsing your hair, or you don't leave the water on when you're brushing your teeth. So it's been an adventure.
I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been making small steps and small improvements, and the kids notice it, and it's fun. So this one is just, it's awesome, and we do it all the time. And I didn't even think about it until Dr. Jenny brought it up, actually, because we've always practiced leave no trace, which, I'm sure most of you parents do that too. It's just kind of, if you love nature, you're going to do what's best for it. And we tag on, you want to leave it a better place. And so when we leave our picnics, a lot of times we go on trash walks. So whatever bag we have, if we have a throwaway bag or something, we'll look in the area and pick up any extra trash that isn't ours, and we'll throw that away unless it's recyclable. So I guess with that, we can get started with the picnic side, unless you had anything else, Dr. Jenny.
No, I think that's great. Let's get started. This is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, so it takes me about 5 to 8 minutes now to pack my picnic lunch, just because we're going on picnics maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And so a lot of times it's just throwing stuff in the bag that I have ready to go, and we're out the door. The first thing I grab is like a towel or a blanket or a monkey mat, just depending on where we're at. Like even just a towel like this, I usually have with me to wipe down slides or something if they're wet. It's a typical mom bag item, grandma, adult bag. And then we fill our water bottles. the essentials, and whether it's filling a reusable water bottle or grabbing a frozen bottle of water out of the freezer, just so you can keep any food cold that you might bring, that's something you can think about. But it's always a reusable item, and we reuse plastic bottles several times if that's what we need to do.
I love what you mentioned about freezing the water in the jug, because we do the same thing, because it's a brilliant idea. Not only does it keep your food cool, but then you can drink it later and you have ice water, and it's, in the summer, that's great. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's definitely a handy one. And then that's when my brain kicks into gear, and it's, what do we have in the fridge? And usually that's what I end up with. It's, what can I make quickly? What can I do that's hands-free, that I don't have to bring utensils to use? And what can I pack really easy, So I think Dr. Jenny put something out a couple of days ago or just recently about different food options for what you can do for picnics. And my go-tos are quesadillas, because it's all in a tortilla. Burritos, if I make them ahead, which is a tricky thing. Peanut butter and jellies, easy. Tortilla roll-ups. So if we have anything in a tortilla, you guys, deli meat and cheese, peanut butter and jelly in a tortilla. And give me ideas. If you have any comments, feed me your picnic ideas right now. Apples, whether they're sliced or unsliced. I have a picky apple sliced child who I have to slice everything. So we'll talk about that. I like doing hummus, and I'll just bring it in a little carry case, and then the kids can run up with their carrot or whatever and dip it in. For fruit, anything that, oranges, apples, bananas are a little tricky. I'm sure everybody's had that banana experience and learned from it. Dried fruit is a go-to for me. Mangoes, craisins, raisins, apricots. It's so easy. And then
Caitlin just mentioned peanut butter and honey roll-ups. So it sounds like she likes putting peanut butter and honey in a tortilla, which is, I'm sure you've done that too. That's a great idea. I haven't yet.
I've done it on bread, but not in a roll-up. I think I'd like that better, actually. And muffins, if you make muffins ahead of time, there's all different kinds. I mean, at that point, you could make egg muffins if you wanted to and do a brunch. So there's all these different ideas. You don't have to make it difficult. It can be easy to just grab and go. The hard part, like I said, no utensils. The hard part for me is thinking about how I'm going to pack it. And so this is where I'll talk about a few different packing options, because I know there's a lot of different sustainable packing containers now. But the key thing I want you to remember is reduce, reuse, recycle. And reduce always comes first. And that's what I have had to really think about, is that if I already have a container that's going to work, I probably don't need to go out and buy something new. I can just use what I have, and that's reducing our carbon footprint by not going out and purchasing anything else. It's simplifying my life because I don't have to find another spot on the shelf to put that stuff. But just reducing, and then reusing any of those bottles that you might have, like the water bottles we talked about, and then we can move to recycle. But some of the containers that I did want to talk to you guys about, like with the apples, these silicone bags are super handy because I can just slice the apples, and then I like to put a little lemon juice on them, because I never quite know at what point in the hike, walk, playground, picnic, whatever it is, we're going to actually be eating. And they don't like brown apples, and I don't either. So the silicone bags are super easy to wash, and they're just really handy for anything that's might be greasy or sticky, if you want to try to get away from Ziploc bags. So that's an option.
So I love that. Ashley, can I ask you a quick question on that? So one of the reasons we have a hard time using reusable bags is because they're always like the fabric ones, and the sticky kind of makes me crazy. And so, but I love them. They're super nice, but it's just, I don't like the sticky in there. So the silicone bag, and I also don't like to wash dishes. I like to put them in the dishwasher. Do the silicone bags work in the dishwasher pretty well?
Yes, they do. I've only used it a handful of times in the dishwasher because I usually just, they wipe out so easily that it's just a really quick clean it. And then like I usually dry mine just over the top like that and it dries quick. So I really like it. I don't have very many of these. I don't know that I would get very many more just because I've got them what I need them for my carrots, my apples, my, pears, whatever it is we're doing. But they are handy. Thank you for mentioning cloth bags because these are my go-to for crackers, veggie straws, chips, anything that, sandwiches. You have to be a little bit careful on the bag you get because the bread can dry out if you leave it for like, I don't know, 5 to 8 hours. But if you're waiting that long to eat your sandwich, whew, you have more stamina than I do. Good for you. But super, super handy. Really easy to wash, like you were saying, if you just turn it inside out. And I put these in the dishwasher too, and they clean up like that. So that's a good one. Mason jars, if you want your salad or if you want to carry your like little crudites, your peppers. My kids are fans of peppers, and these things hold peppers and carrots great for our little hummus snacks. But you just have to be careful with the jar. If you think you're going to be going somewhere where it might get broken, watch that. Produce bags are super handy, not just for the grocery store, but for hikes too. So just think about different ways that you can reuse the stuff that you have. And I thought I brought some beeswax wrap, and I don't think I did. But you guys, the beeswax wrap is awesome, especially for if you end up with food that you haven't eaten. Like my kids always give me a half-eaten apple, and then I can just wrap it up in the beeswax wrap and stick it in the fridge when I get home, and it's already done. I don't have to worry about anything else. So those are just different packing options. Let me know if you have any questions about those because I know it can be overwhelming. And then I would say the thing to remember is your Ziploc baggies are reusable. So just make sure you wash those out and reuse them. I had a friend early on in my college career. She would bring cookies, but you wouldn't get your cookie unless you brought your Ziploc bag back to reuse it. I was like,
That's awesome. It's intense, but it's awesome. She obviously left an impression. So, oh, that's great.
yeah, and some blocks are recyclable too. I just learned. So,
Oh, all of wait, did you say some or all?
well, that's if you know the answer to that, please tell me. Because the thing that I learned just recently from our recycling center is if you have a plastic bag and it stretches, if you can push your thumb through it and it stretches and doesn't just break, then it can go to our recycling facility. So you call and ask, take a tour of your facility. That would be a fun field trip, I suppose. But
Nice. So, Ashley, I have a question, and Caitlin does as well, and they both deal with the beeswax. I've always seen them, and I've seen people make them, and I'm intrigued, but I haven't taken the leap yet.
yeah.
And Caitlin's asking, how are they washed, and how, I mean, once you get used to using them, because I know you have to like warm them up in your hand, and so there's some things that are kind of like specific to the beeswax wrap. But tell us why you like them so much, and then if it's easy to wash them, if it's easy to clean them.
Yeah. So I like them because I don't like saran wrap for one, and I can reuse it. Might wait for this plane to pass. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can. Yeah.
But they come in different sizes, and so beeswax is naturally antibacterial almost, and so it's really easy to wash. The only trick is you have to use cold water, and you don't want to put them on like a dish that you've just washed that's hot. I might have done this because then some of the beeswax comes off onto that pot or pan or dish or whatever it is. But it's a simple, rinse through water and then just scrub it down. You don't have to use soap. You can, but just scrub it off. And I can usually get it pretty clean. you don't want to use it with bread items. And that's one thing I learned. Onions are okay. I love using mine for an avocado. It seems like it keeps an avocado better than any other container I've ever kept an avocado in. But with like my glass jar, all you have to do, and this is literally as long as it takes, but you just wrap it over the top. I'll pretend this is my beeswax. You just wrap it over the top and just hold it off. And by the time I usually walk to the refrigerator, my hands have warmed it up enough that I can just stick it in there and it's sealed on there. So it's nice for salads. And I got my mom a set, not knowing if she'd actually use it, and she loves it. So
Well, that's good.
that you, my mom's not an old dog by any means. I love her dearly, but she can learn new tricks.
Is your mom around? Can she hear you right now?
No, she can't. On the other side of the building.
Okay, good. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's been something I've been wanting to try for a while. And, I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. Honey is naturally antibacterial, antiviral, all these wonderful things. So, of course, the beeswax would be too. And my husband is a little bit of a germaphobe. It's just, yeah. And so he gets worried about sometimes using different things, but I think he would buy into the beeswax because of those properties. So I like that. I think that's great. Speaking of going to the recycling center, is there anything interesting that you learned there that you were like, oh, I could do this at home, or this makes sense for families? Or maybe just suggesting that we all go take a tour of our recycling center. Was that hard to do, or was that easy?
It was so easy. Ours actually has a built-in education center to it. So it was super easy to get online and do it. I don't know if every facility has that, but you can call it. There's sometimes a disconnect between sanitation services and an actual recycling center. So you want to figure out where your recycling is actually going, because each facility is so different. For me, it was just learning what I could and couldn't recycle, because the information that was coming to me through our sanitation service was different than what could actually be recycled at that center. Okay. So, it's just figuring out what there is in your area. But my kids loved it. We were only planning on spending an hour, and we ended up spending 2.5 hours there. So
wow. No, it sounds like an amazing education experience in general, because, and I didn't even think about it, but what they put online is probably like gone through 5 different channels for the person to actually put online what you can recycle, versus going to the center itself and hearing it, directly from them, what you can recycle, and the kids hearing that and seeing what happens and knowing why we put things in this separate bin, what the whole purpose is behind that. I love it. I think we have another question. Ashley. All right, so no more questions have come in. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about academics. How can we turn this into, so we have this contest, right? So for those of you guys who came in a little bit late, we want the kids to design a waste-free lunch for you, for your family. We want you to guys take pictures, post it in the group, and then we'll have a little contest, and one kid will win a prize, and we'll send them a fun PDF activity. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we want to provide opportunities for you guys to make it more academic, because this is what makes Nature Matters different from all the other nature groups online, right? They're all about crafts. They're all about getting outside and doing these cutesy things, or pre-K level activities, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But we really work on taking the academics up and helping kids learn meaningful things outside, learn about life and about their careers and, their gifts, all the things they're good at. So with this activity, Ashley, do you have any ideas on how we could make it academic for the kids?
I would say your biggest is, seeing how much you can reduce your picnic footprint. Like, what are you going to have to throw away? What are you not going to have to throw away? How are you going to wash your hands? How are you going to do, are you going to bring a wet wipe? How do you usually wash your hands? All the way to, oh gosh, I don't even know. Like, what can you do after your picnic? What can you do to make that space a better place? Are you going to pull a sticker weed so that somebody doesn't get a sticker, and just, are you going to pick up trash around your area? What are you going to do to make yourself feel better? Are you going to step back and just take a deep breath? Those would be some of the biggest ones. And then if you recycle, know what you're recycling and why you're recycling it.
Oh, I love that. I think that's a great plan. And they're reducing, and those are something that as parents, you can take pictures of those. And then you could post them and we could see what was reduced. What did they not use? If there was anything that was thrown away, show us how little amount they threw away, because the kids are going to be proud of that. Even if it's not completely no waste, they're going to be proud of not throwing away much. And then, for your kids that are in high school or even middle school, depending on, what they like, they could calculate the carbon footprint of their meal. And they could see how it's different from, say, going to McDonald's and getting all the extra wrappings and the boxes and the sacks and all the things that go with that. And they can see how big of a difference that is. So you guys get outside, have some picnics with your kids, and have them design their own no waste or low waste lunch and enter our contest. Again, I'll put a post up in the group either today or tomorrow. Ashley, do you have any final words of wisdom?
No, all I would say is don't let a picnic and the trash scare you away. Get your kids outside. It's essential to make those memories outdoors. Just foster that good natural resource stewardship, and your kids are going to love doing it too. They love doing what you do. So just have fun, be happy.
Yes. Have fun. And it's all about those family relationships, right? At the end of the day, you're building memories, and these are memories that most kids don't have. Most kids aren't planning a low waste picnic lunch for their family. So what you're doing is amazing. You guys, you're doing great things for your kids. So again, I'll post in the group a contest for the kids. And what do you think? Maybe 2 weeks? That's kind of a reasonable amount of time, Ashley? What do you think? Oh, I lost Ashley. So we'll make the deadline about 2 weeks. And then we'll give a prize to whoever you wins the contest. And so thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Ashley, for being here. This is huge. She is actually on vacation right now, and she still showed up. So thank you so much, Ashley. We love what you do, and thank you for giving back to the group. And then finally, guys, if you want your own Let Nature Be Your Teacher, we have them for adults and for kids. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and you guys can check them out. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.